Welcome to Before Floor, the pregame edition of Five on the Floor, brought to you by the Five Region Sports Network. I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Three Piece Combo. We're joined by the usual cast, Mr. Tim A, Mateo Mayorga, and Mr. Marco Romo. As always, if you guys are new to the channel and you're a Miami Heat sports fan, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe as well. Now, if you're also joining us and you're young and with the family, make sure you go to markbrownpa.com. That's MARCBrownPA.com. He's going to take care of all your financial assets if something were to happen to you in this crazy time, right? So, like I said, he's based out of the North Lauderdale area. He services the entire area. And if anything were to happen to you, he makes sure that everything is taken care of when it comes to the financial aspects. Give him a call at 954-866-8513 or reach out to him at markbrownpa.com. That's MARCBrownPA.com and get a free consultation like he shows right there. Now, if you guys are into some daily fantasy and you're not like me, or if you're like me and you drafted some players that might have gotten hurt during the year, you get in luck, right? Because you can play some daily fantasy. You can use prizepicks.com. Use the promo code 5. That's FIVE. Spell it out. We'll double your deposit up to $100. $100 free money. And all it is you pick if they're going to go over and under on some points, assists, rebounds. Like, let's say it says, LeBron's going to go for 50 points. Probably take the under on that, right? So you have some pretty easy bets there. They usually have some cool picks there for that. Well, like pick 4 or 5 of them. If you get them all right, you get a lot of money. Even if you get one wrong with a flex play, you can still make some money as well. Like I said, go to prizepicks.com, use the promo code 5, double your deposit up to $100. Guys, coming off of a good win, but tonight is another game, right? So before we get into the game, because we're playing the same team, I want to talk about kind of some of the things we did right in last game. So Marco, I'll start with you with the game against the Hornets. What things did you see as far as the things that we did right and maybe some things that we need to tighten up in a game that we should have maybe won by a lot more margin?
It's funny watching these games now because I watch them a lot later than everybody else because I come home from work and I kind of just zoom through them. And I actually go back and watch them again because I'm watching them so fast. So I see them through this lens of more of an analytical term. And what I noticed was there were a lot of passes per possession for Miami in that first 3 quarters. Again, that fourth quarter, they have the really bad fourth quarter net rating. I looked it up. They have the net rating by teams. Miami was one of the best last year in the third quarter. They're good again in the third this year, but in the fourth quarter, it slowed down again. It was stagnant, stagnant, stagnant. So the first 3 quarters, they got to keep that up because those passes, they had purpose, which is one thing that they kind of lack sometimes. Is their passes are just kind of like going through the motions. You know, the revolving door of dribble handoffs, as our friend Giancarlo Navas used to say. That kind of stuff I hate, but they had a lot of purpose on their passes, and I really like that. Defensively, I thought they got into the passing lanes a lot. The Hornets, I think, had a lot of turnovers in that first half. The second half, they cleaned that up, but again, Miami forced them to kind of make quicker decisions than they had to. They need to keep that up as well. That's one of the things they've been good at is getting transition buckets off of turnovers. It's just that in the fourth quarter, it kind of just stops because teams start to get smarter with the ball, and also teams aren't as lackadaisical. So Miami needs to, kind of hammer home some of these possessions and they kind of end them off with rebounds as well because offensive rebounding is still kind of a problem for them.
Yeah, Miami's still giving up a lot of size. I mean, the best way this team kind of wants to play, and it's weird for me to kind of say this, but Utah is playing really well because of how unselfish, quote unquote, they're playing. They're just moving the ball around. And we saw that when early 2020, when this team kind of first came together. And we kind of want to see that again. I think that's probably the best way for success with this particular team without an individual rebounder that can really just hold it down in the middle. Mateo, potentially maybe getting LaMelo Ball back for the Charlotte Hornets. Obviously, they have been struggling without him. If they get LaMelo Ball back, how different does this Charlotte team look?
Well, Jonathan, it would give them an extra threat in transition as a finisher or a passer. In the half court, LaMelo is someone that creates a bunch of gravity near the rim and towards the outside, but that would require someone with size, speed, and length to track him and prevent him from getting into the lane so easily, or to bother him when he curls off a screen in the outside and pulls up for a triple or one in transition. But LaMelo is someone who is also very proficient at scoring inside the arc. 74% of his 2-point shots last year were unassisted. This is a man who can create his own shot at will. But in regards to him playing, if he plays, I would suggest that he go to the 2-3 zone less often because he is someone that forces a lot of attention in the middle, and he is a taller and accurate passer. He's going to buy his shooters some time, something that would be expected with LaMelo playing, as well as for Charlotte to go to a higher dosage of the pick and roll. It would be very dangerous for the Heat too, because if you send two at LaMelo, he could just lob it up to the middle to guys like Nick Richards or Mason Plumlee, guys with vertical spacing who can hurt the Heat that way. But if he is playing, the best option I would suggest to start off the game is probably put Butler or Martin on him to see most of the action on him before a switch occurs, Jonathan.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think that's a great way to neutralize him. I think with somebody like Martin, you have somebody who can kind of match the speed with him and also match the length with him as well, being a point guard that just has that agility and kind of just give him a little more defensive problems. Timmy, let's get to Miami as a whole, right? It's kind of tough for us to see that against a team that's struggling so much like Charlotte, Miami had to go to overtime to beat them. Is this team too thin as far as the talent goes? And break me down on where do you feel this team is as far as depth?
For sure, they are too thin, and they just announced that Tyler is out. Tyler is not playing, but Deadman is. Boo-hoo. But
negative, it's great.
Where the game changed for the Heat, as it always changed, and shout out to Marco for bringing us up. When Jimmy sits those 4 to 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, it's just like they refuse to pass the ball. The ball movement dies. They may do one screen, maybe one. There's too much side-to-side action, and after the shot clock is burned out, someone jacks a 3 or takes a by fadeaway jumper. I understand that Jimmy can't play 48 minutes a game. I know you don't want Jimmy to come out earlier in the third because that's our quarter, and you know you want to build that cushion. But if this is a team until January 15th, Spo truly may have to stagger Jimmy in a way where Jimmy starts the fourth quarter. I understand Spo is stuck in his ways. And he's probably the best coach in the NBA, so I'm not going to argue with Spo. But especially with Hero being out last game and being out again, that team is just nothing really happens without Jimmy on the floor. Just Larry and 3 shooters and a big man, you know. And I mean, we had such a great third quarter. Like I went to cut off the game, then I got the alert on my phone, tie game. But I do agree, talent wise, height wise, girth wise, this team is just too small, too thin. And there's nothing we can do, honestly and truly, until the contracts of Victor and Deadman are going to be, you know. So it doesn't make sense to like fantasize, but who you can get. There's nothing in the kitty right now for them to spend. You have to thug it out with this roster. I really was looking forward to what York would have brought this season, especially after seeing how hard he worked in training camp and those minutes with Bam. But it's sad to say he might miss the entire season. So we have to rely on Deadman just not even a bit, way more than we expected to. I only think I could see we could change. Maybe we cut Drew Smith and bring back Alonzo Robinson. I don't know, but yeah, this Bam. Everyone needs help. Bam needs help. Jimmy needs help. But again, it's still Miami Heat. You know, the roughest, the toughest, the biggest. They'll get it done. But his team is definitely going to be galvanized with LaMelo making his debut. He is the face of the team. He is one of the 10 best-selling jerseys in the NBA. Like he brings a certain energy that they will feed off of tonight. You know, and especially after nearly beating the Heat last game, they're gonna definitely use his energy to try to overcome. So I could see I know shout out to Jonathan, you about to go watch the boxing, but I could see a nice boxing match tonight, a back and forth game tonight.
For sure, definitely. You can see it definitely going down deep into the 12th. You know what I mean? Where it's just close. One possession, somebody has to make a play, and hopefully it's the more experienced team and the more experienced player in Jimmy Butler that like to play that. So let's get into the rapid fire, guys. And Marco, welcome back. We'll start with you for the rapid fire. Jimmy Butler is at 6 assists tonight. Are you taking over on that or under?
I feel like he's going to try to prove a point tonight and try to be like, okay, everybody else step up. It depends on who's hitting shots, though. That's going to be the thing. Is Max going to be hitting the shots? Is Gabe going to be hitting the shots? I'm going to go under. I think he'll probably get a 5. I don't think he's going to get it. I feel like he's going to try to get everybody involved, but this team has gone now 30 games without really being a good 3-point shooting team, which is it's kind of rough. That sample's getting a lot bigger and it's getting a lot scarier, but I'm going under, but just a little bit under, like 5, around 4 or 5. But I think Kyle's going to be he's going to be out there trying to facilitate a lot too. I feel like he's going to be like, okay, Hero's not in. I got to step up as well. So hopefully it's more of a Kyle assist game, but I feel like Jimmy's going to get around 5. That's as usual. His average is around 4 or 5. So that doesn't really hurt Miami too much. Just depending, again, our guys going to hit their shots. Miami is like, are they? I don't know. But I'm going.
Right. If we do, I mean, that's the biggest question when it comes to every game. We live and die by the 3. It's unfortunate, but it's tough for us to win a game when a 3-point shot's falling. We don't have a fallback, right? We don't have a guy that can isolation, get it inside. We don't have a go-to bucket getter outside of Jimmy Butler, and so it's tough. So Mateo, speaking of Kyle Lowry, we're gonna go to his points for this one. He's at 12.5, which is pretty low, honestly, in my opinion. But with no Tyler Hero in the backcourt, especially, are you going under on that, or are you going over?
Ooh, I am going to go with the over. He only took 6 shots last game. I think someone is going to tell him, hey, man, you need to take more than 6 shots a game tonight. And half of them were, I believe, actually, no, they weren't. I'm sorry, my bad. I think half of the shots were triples, but I think he is going to have to be more aggressive tonight with the absence of Tyler Hero, because the Heat didn't even shoot very well from the floor last game. I think it was only 43%, and he's going to need to be much better and much more aggressive when Jimmy catches the schemes and guys like him or Strus are open. So I'm going to go with the over on that one, Jonathan.
Beautiful. Timmy, we have Bam Adebayo. He's sitting at 18.5 points. This is kind of what they've had him at for the last couple of games. What do we see from Bam tonight? Do you think we see more than 18.5, or are you going under on that?
So last game he had 18, 14, 4, and 2. I think, like I say, his eyes lights up when he see Plum. They think he's gonna go for the over. Especially the tempo will be faster with the Melo playing. They're gonna clean up, and this is the one thing I like about this baseball style that's been adopted because of COVID. You see the same team in 2 nights. We know Spurs are master when it comes to seeing the team when it's again like 2 or 3 days later. So I think Spurs gonna get them to clean up, but I think Bam missed like a lot of bunnies the first half. So and sort of I just saw that Spolstra just said in the press conference that LaMelo and Larry are the 2 best pitcher head guys in the league. So I definitely could see a faster pace, and I think Bam was, and this is my only qualm with Bam this season. He's missing too many shots at the rim. I don't know if it's rushing, if it's overconfidence. So just take a half a second and get that bucket, So I think Bam slows it down a bit tonight, and he gets at least 20. So I take it over.
Beautiful. Mateo, go ahead and kick us off on predictions, bro.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, I am going to go with a Charlotte victory, because it's very hard to beat the same opponent twice in a row, especially when they are reviewing the game and, they get to see you after a day of rest. Jimmy Butler had a 35-point near triple-double. It'll be hard to do the same thing again if he's going to catch the majority of the schemes. Missing Hero, I don't like it. I don't want to see too much of Deadman. I'm going to go with a Charlotte victory, but what really troubled me last game, I know the Heat won, is that Charlotte made 52 points in the paint, and they only scored 7 of these points on the fast break. They were scoring very well in the half court. Miami needs to do a better job of staying in front of their man, and I'm not sure if they'll be able to tonight.
Marco, where are you at on this one?
Honestly, I'd probably go there, but I'm be like Greg. I'd rather be wrong than right about the Heat. I'm always going to be picking the Heat no matter what, probably. But like Timmy said, Spo he's really good at these kind of series, and in the playoffs, he's really good at adjustments. So maybe in the regular season, this kind of baseball series type stuff helps him make adjustments. It's just hard whenever, they brought in LaMelo and that was the last second thing. Miami probably wasn't expecting it. Maybe Spo hadn't prepared for that. Who knows? But I'm just going to go with Miami. Hopefully they kind of tighten the screws on a lot of stuff. They need to really – this needs to be a 10-plus point win to put any sort of confidence in the fan base right now. Maybe they know that, and maybe they're like, okay, maybe we need to, pound these guys into the ground and just kind of make our way and start making a run right now, or else it's going to be a 500 team up until December. So I'll go with Miami. I'm not super confident in. I don't know why I would be. I don't know why anybody would be. So there you go. Woo.
Timmy, finish this up, bro.
Well, like I said earlier, the Hornets are 3-10 for the season, but they're getting their franchise player back. I just don't see them losing this game with the Heat looking as shaky as they do. So, fortunately, I think the Hornets got it. But I also needed to happen. I need to be convincing to wake this team up. I need this team to wake up because the season could get by you so fast. But definitely, I think the Hornets win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close one tonight. Like you said, with the insertion of LaMelo Ball, it's not only the insertion of a player, the players around him are going to be more energized having their quote unquote leader back, right? It's a moral, like a boost of morale for them having to be able to have somebody back. It's like you said, I think it was Mateo that said the Jimmy Butler triple double. We can't be, it's tough to rely on Jimmy so much because we're so thin, like Timmy said, right? So I think I'm going to take Miami to win too, because like Marco said, hey, rather be wrong and pick the Heat. So I'm going to take Miami to win. I think we're able to grind it out somehow. Like you guys said, Spo is able to usually pick up some things and make adjustments for them. So I think Miami does pick up the win. The way we're going to have to do it, we're going to have to move the ball. And we can't turn the ball over again, especially if they have LaMelo back. Can't turn the ball over against a high transition team. So I think that's really going to be the main focus for tonight. But as always, if you guys think we're going to win, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe as well. Make sure you guys hit up Mark Brown for all your financial asset planning at marcbrownpa.com or at 954-866-8513, or go to prizepicks.com, use the promo code 5, and double your deposit up to $100. And then Alejandro now will take you into the recordings for the press conference, actually.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us here in the pregame show. Welcome back to the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Remember, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel, give it a like so you help us out to keep growing our channel here on the YouTube live stream. All right, we have a couple of comments coming in. Tony Wiley says, Miami really looking like a mediocre team this year. Offense is terrible, and Kyle Lowry looking like he just don't have it anymore. Jimmy Butler is the answer, says Alex M. Jose Matos says El Velorio. Alan Peter Cuyatano says, Spo adjust? Maybe he'll use 7 players this game. We'll see. Tiff L says, I hate when everyone says it's hard to beat the same team in a row. Don't they play the same team in a row in the playoff? You're right, Tiffany. You're right. I agree with you. And they should win tonight. They have no excuses. They should win tonight against one of the worst teams in the NBA right now. We are overplaying Bam. He's alone in the boards. That's true. I mean, Dedmon is trying to do his job there. We haven't seen we haven't seen year 7. We haven't seen a lot of Jokic either. Haslam, not a factor anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's hard, and we knew it. We knew it coming into the season. So anyway, so I wanted to show you guys before we go into the videos. I went to FTX Arena earlier tonight. We went to buy some tickets for a future game, and this is how it looks. They still have the FTX Arena sign there. That's a video we took from our car. As you can tell, the FTX Arena signs are still up. Everything's still normal, quoting normal, quote normal. As you all know, FTX just filed for bankruptcy. So, and as you saw in the post from the Miami Heat, they are moving away from this deal that they signed. They're not going to be a sponsor anymore, but for now, they still have to figure out some stuff there, and the name rights are one of them. And we'll see what happens. Look at this. Pollo Tropical Arena soon, says Fernando Lopez. I thought FTX broke. They are broke. And I mean, I'm not going to go into details about the story here, but it's getting more and more interesting or sad because it's really bad what's going on with FTX Arena. No, we will improve and we'll play better. Don't panic. And it says IRRP Arena. 5 Reasons Arena would be nice to have there, but we don't quite have that same amount of money as FTX Arena right now, for now. But anyway, let's continue with our pregame show right away. Let's listen to Eric Spoelstra and what he said after that 117-112 win against the Charlotte Hornets a couple of nights ago, as they play them tonight for the second time in 3 days. Here we go. This is Eric Spoelstra.
Do you look at this as why does it happen again, or do you look at this as solving the riddle at the end?
Well, you don't always have an absolute solve and solution in this league, but I think this was important for us. You know, you go through 4 straight games, and you know we've. I say this respectfully, but in the majority of the games, 3+ quarters in these last 4 games. I felt like we've played better than our opponent, and then we've dropped some of these leads, and you have to go through all the emotions and the detail on both ends, and then find a way to figure it out. And I think this is an important breakthrough early on in the season. Just to continue to have these kind of games and then find a way to win. And I thought it was really important for us to go to OT, and deal with the frustration and then have to mentally reset, emotionally reset, to play 5 more minutes. And I thought we were very good in that overtime. So we'll continue to work and get better, but I saw a lot of positives tonight, and I love it when your team has to go through, the context of close games and pressure and dealing with, leads and figuring out how to hold on to leads and then, we had to play from behind also down the stretch. So I thought we had to show some grit and figure some things out.
The box score says 35, 10, and 8 for Jimmy, and he was obviously great down the stretch of regulation, especially. But this wasn't just the Jimmy show. How important is that as well? That it was Gabe playing big minutes and making big plays at the end, and Bam having one of his best nights of the year. Just how important is it that it's not just one guy in a game like this doing the work?
Yeah, that is how we're built, and the guys are really embracing that. I think we're starting to understand what our identity, has to be on both ends of the court. Jimmy was obviously sensational, particularly when we went down in the fourth quarter. He really put his imprint on those last few minutes of the fourth quarter and really willed a lot of our offensive possessions that really took some pressure off of us, on the other end. And I thought we had some key stops, but Max had a big 3, and I love the fact that he had struggled, from behind the line most of the game, and then still had, that big play, the big 3, down the stretch, and Bam picked it up as well in the fourth quarter. Really made some nice plays, and Kyle was orchestrating, and Gabe, was really all over the place defensively for us, and then was able to initiate offense for us going down the stretch. I just thought it was an important game, an important win for us mentally and emotionally. Just keep on getting to that point and then find a way to figure it out.
Well, one thing you guys have consistently done well to start the season is force turnovers, and tonight obviously was an important part of the game as well. What have you liked about the way you guys have been able just to be disruptive pretty consistently early on?
Well, one, that it's part of our identity that we really want, that to be disruptive and get teams out of their comfort zone in a lot of different ways, which requires a big energy and focus commitment, to be able to be active and get our hands on balls, deny passes, play multiple schemes, but that's our lifeblood. Defensively. I think the key with that in being disruptive is we're also still able, for the most part, to be able to protect the paint, protect the rim, and eliminate just the easy baskets. I still, of course, I'm a coach, so I would like to see it even better. We're nowhere near where we want to be or where we'll end up defensively, but at least, some of the foundational things of being disruptive and taking away easy baskets, we're starting to get there.
I know you've always spoken well of Cliff, and he has of you too. And he's without 3 of his biggest guys right now. And
Yeah.
all of their games lately, it seems like, have kind of looked like tonight did. How is he doing this with?
Yeah,
So
because he's a
shorthanded.
really good damn coach. He builds an identity. He builds a culture. It takes a little bit of time, to build those kind of habits. But we've experienced these games, over the years, that if you feel like it's a 10-point lead, they're going to find a way to grind back in it and make it a possession game. It just seems like all the time. because they're building the right habits. Very disciplined defensively. They take away, your strengths. They game plan, and then offensively, they really try to play rock solid and execute with detail.
Coach, in a lot of these close games, you guys go down the stretch. You've utilized a lot of guard screening specifically for Jimmy, and you saw a little bit of that tonight, obviously. What does that create late in the game, specifically for Jimmy, when he's able to kind of create those advantages and get to those spots?
Yeah, I think it just allows us to get to some coherent spacing a little bit better. And it won't be our menu and package for every single stretch, going down in close games. But right now, as we kind of build our fourth quarter menu, that's one that everybody can feel super comfortable. Jimmy just makes brilliant decisions going down the stretch. It's not all about just him trying to score. He makes the right play. He really does. He reads the defense. He understands what the coverage is going to be, and then he'll know how to manipulate it and force a second defender. Or if they don't, he's just so good at shot making, going down the stretch. But we'll continue to build it, from here. And the best way to do it is to be in these games, and then you have something to review on film, the next day, and then you have something to start to work on. And obviously when we get Tyler back, that'll add to our menu going down the stretch. But overall, I just think it was really important for us mentally and emotionally to have a game like this and to have a breakthrough.
Eric, your team's percentages on wide open shots are down this year from where they were last season. It's kind of a continuation of the playoffs. What do you attribute that to? Because I mean, you're getting looks; they're not going down.
I don't know, and that's part of the discussion that we've had as a team. Is you just have to trust that process and continue to try to generate the looks that are in our strength zone. And the last 4 or 5 games, I've felt better about our offense, even if we haven't necessarily made those kind of open shots. I always look at it, can you generate those open shots? Those floodgates are going to, come open soon enough. And, it's just like I was telling our team this morning, there's going to be a time, too, where those floodgates break open with that second unit where I don't even have to put the starters back in. Like, we're that close to that happening. But I also like that mental discipline of having some losses, but generating better looks and better things offensively, and then staying with it. That takes some discipline as a team, and then you build the right habits, and then eventually you start to knock down those shots. It's still way too early, to judge whether guys are making open shots or not. The toughest thing in this league, can you get enough open shots? All right, Coach. Thank you.
All right, that was Eric Spoelstra talking about that game and what's going on with the offense for the Miami Heat. They did win that game in overtime, 117-112. Coming back to our subject from earlier tonight, Jose Mato says, 5 Reasons Arena. And some of the other people, Daniel Brown says, Big Face Arena. Jet Blue Arena, another one of the names getting thrown out there. Bustelo Arena for all those coffee lovers, coffee drinkers out there. And here in Miami, we have tons of them. The Goya Arena could be another one. La Carreta Arena. That sounds like the carrot. And says Jimmy Butler is a great player. All right, let's continue with our pregame show. Number 88 says, what we need is win with a lead of 15-20. Yeah, the Miami Heat has struggled in this season. I only remember one easy win, and it was against the Portland Trail Blazers at Portland. That was the only one that I remember that was really easy. The other ones have been really tough, almost until the end of the game. All right, let's continue with our pregame show here. Let's listen to some of the players. Let's start. We have Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, and then we're going to finish it off tonight as you guys get ready to watch the second game in 3 days against the Charlotte Hornets. The game is supposed to start in about 30 minutes. So here we go. Bam Adebayo now coming up next on 5 Reasons.
At this point, is it just assumed that games are going to be close? I mean, it seems like it hasn't been every night, but it seems like every night has been like this. And are you guys getting kind of weirdly comfortable in these situations where everything sort of hangs on 1 or 2 plays down the stretch?
I mean, we're not trying to have that happen, but makes the game interesting. But all in all, we want to continue to build these habits. Like I said, going through these games will help us in the long run. It's a great experience, and being able to get this one is big for us.
Questions, guys?
Oh, I was going to leave.
Bam, so far this season, what do you think about Caleb Martin's performance as a full-time power forward?
He's still trying to figure it out. We put Caleb in a situation he's never been in, but I feel like he's excelling. He's doing his things necessary, making open shots, getting stops. He had a big stop at the end of the game. And, that's what we want for Caleb. We want him to make open shots, defend at a high level, and be that combo wing that we need.
You guys, I think, were up 12 going into the fourth. You're up 15 a couple of times, and then obviously you were playing from behind a little bit. With all that's gone on lately and the way some games have turned out, how did you guys just not kind of let it go, not let the frustration kind of keep you from getting back in it?
It's a game of runs. I feel like one thing about it, we lost a couple that we should have won in this same situation. So, like I said, being in these situations, it helps you for the next game and the next game after that. To the point you have composure, you're built for it, and we got this one and keep building.
Yeah, the threes, again, didn't go in at a high rate tonight, but Spo was just saying with the type of looks you guys are getting, he feels like the floodgates are going to open soon. Do you feel like the offense is generating the type of looks you guys want, especially from 3?
Yeah, I definitely feel like we're getting open looks. We're getting great shots. And, we live and die with the open ones. I feel like we got a lot of great shots tonight. A lot of them didn't fall.
It seemed like there were long stretches tonight where Charlotte wasn't getting good looks, even if some of the shots went in, and there were stretches tonight where they were getting in the paint, getting some pretty efficient looks. Over the past however many close games it's been, do you feel like you're seeing the defense take steps forward?
Yeah. We're not as far as everybody think we are. But we still have improvement. We still have room for improvement. We still want to improve. And the biggest thing for us is just watching film and just, stacking those days of getting better and preparing.
Bam, you always talk about the dribble handoff connection with Duncan, but he was kind of turning that into a little bit more of 2-on-1s with you and kind of getting inside the paint in this game with a little in-between game. What does that change, I guess, when you're getting those type of looks, when Duncan's getting those type of looks, I guess, for the offense?
Duncan finally dribbles now, so he can run and shoot a floater, but it just makes us more dynamic. Like I said, last year, Duncan didn't really put the ball in the floor. The fact that he's been in the gym countless hours and improved his ball handling to the point where if somebody presses him, he up fakes, they jump, he can drive and actually, make a play. It just helps our team.
All right, all the way from Greece, Christos Saltas, go ahead.
Great game, great win, first of all. After 12 games under your belt as a team, what did you see as the biggest strength of the group? And what is that aspect that you would like to work for to be a great team?
I'll say our biggest strength is just we've been together for X amount of time. The team camaraderie, team connection. I feel like we still can grow in that area, but I feel like that's the biggest advantage we have. We're connected. We know each other's game. We know each other's tendencies. Black Lives Matter, people.
All right, that was Bam Adebayo talking about that win and what's going on with the offense and defense in the last quarter. And the Miami Heat winning finally, and they're coming back to 5 wins and 7 losses in the first 12 games of the season. Let's read some of you guys' comments. Once again, Fernando Lopez is asking, would you do Max Strus for Crowder? I would not. I would not do Max Strus for Crowder. Max Strus is one of the best players of the team right now. We don't really have a lot of them like him. So he did have a rough night against Charlotte a couple of nights ago, but I will keep him for sure. Mike Jones says, bad defense and poor rebounding teams score off of second chance opportunities. Every missed rebound seems to be a 3 for the other team. Truth for Crowder, no. Crowder is on his way out. The goal can't be to get older. Jose Mato says, for me, Caleb is a hero. People forget he accepted a challenge. And Alan Peters says, unfortunately, he doesn't get enough minutes even when he's playing well. And Original Raider 72 says Jovic and Oladipo will help stabilize the second team defense and some offense. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your comments and for being here on our pregame show tonight, Saturday night. The game is supposed to be starting at 8 p.m. So you have about 25 minutes until the beginning of the game. All right, let's continue with our pregame coverage. And now we're going to listen to our friend Jimmy Butler, who was wearing some glasses, and we'll see how it looks. Here's Jimmy Butler as we round up our pregame show here on the 5 Reasons YouTube
Your
channel.
team built 15-point leads in both the first half and second half. You go to the bench, hopefully maybe resting for the rest of the game, and then almost consistently having to be called back in to put out fires.
I mean, sometimes that's this league. We're a very good team when we want to be on both sides of the ball. And I think sometimes we think we're too good, and that's when leads slip away. But that's okay. We got a dub tonight, so I'll take it. We will be better. This is a win streak.
Jimmy, through 12 games, where do you feel like the defense is at this point? Well, last year you guys were a top 5 unit, and you've had your moments this year. But where would you say it's at this point?
Not where we need it to be. It's not all bad, but there are a lot of mistakes, miscommunication, not getting back, easily correctable stuff. So hopefully we start doing that pretty soon and stacking some W's because we're in dire need of some wins.
Jimmy, ever since Kyle got here, if it's late in the game and there's small guards on the other side, you guys are pretty much going straight to getting the switch and everything. What makes Kyle so good at making sure you get that switch and delivering the ball?
Kyle is just like super smart, and he's always ahead of every play, 2-3 plays ahead throughout the entire game. He just really locks in the fourth quarter and overtime, but he's finding ways to get everybody a shot, whether it be Bam or Max or Duncan or Tyler, myself. He's so unselfish, and sometimes it's a bad thing because he could, shoot a layup or shoot an open 3, but he's the point guard, a pass-first type, and he's always looking to get somebody else a bucket.
What changes when you have a smaller guy on you that you can kind of create some space with?
Honestly, nothing. I just I pick and choose whenever I want to be aggressive. I think I'm a pretty good scorer, and I can put the ball in the basket from anywhere. But I like to get my guys involved. So I'm going to continually do that. I hope I don't have to score 35 ever again this season in order for us to win. But sometimes that is what's needed.
What's it like to have a guy like Gabe? Doesn't necessarily get a lot of shots, but in the big moments, every single time he goes to the free throw line when you need him at the end of games, he's 100%, he's guaranteed. What's it like to have a guy like that, unlike maybe someone like you who's used to that pressure situation, just to see, oh, it's Gabe, that's 2.
Yeah, Gabe not scared. Gabe built for this. He's got an incredible journey and path to get to where he is today, so it's been way more difficult than 2 free throws at the end of the game. I love Gabe. He plays so hard. He plays the right way. He tries to do right by everybody, and to me, even sometimes that's wrong because he's very, very unselfish as well. And I'm so glad that he's on my team because he saves my tail on a lot of possessions, both offensively and defensively.
Jimmy, a lot of your buckets tonight when you were going one-on-one, you were kind of showing off your footwork. You always talk about playing one-on-one in practice with a bunch of guys. Does that kind of translate over, I guess, when you're kind of playing in that type of realm of one-on-one game?
It does, but that's not good basketball. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that it is. And I don't like to play like that. I don't do that anymore. I used to. I don't. I really enjoy, seriously, making sure that Duncan gets his threes, and Max and Tyler and Kyle, Caleb, Gabe, because I know whenever they're making shots, my job is gonna be super easy. I get layups, I get wide open jump shots. I don't like to play like that. I can, and I enjoy it like whenever we're in practice, but that's not winning basketball. No. Peace. Y'all like my aloe shades too.
All right, that was Jimmy Butler. Important when he said that right there at the end. He doesn't enjoy that type of game. He did have to do it in the last game against the Charlotte Hornets. They were struggling to get the offense going in the last quarter, as they've been in some of the last games. I feel like all the games this season, when it gets late in the game, they start struggling and they get stagnant, and it's hard for them to really create offense. All right, so let's read some of you guys' comments as we close out our pregame coverage tonight, as we get ready to watch the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets play for the second time in 3 days here in Miami at 5 Reasons Arena. It's not FTX Arena anymore. We're going to call it 5 Reasons Arena right now. All right. Let's see. Oladipo, no, here. Andres Rivera says, we need a player like PJ Washington. Will Hightower says, you should have paid Tucker to keep him. Well, the things were not going that well in Philadelphia either, so we'll see. Tucker wanted to leave. He had an option to stay. He thinks him and Harden can get the chip with Embiid. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people think they can really make it farther away than they did last year. They lost to the Miami Heat in the second round of the playoffs, so we'll see what happens this year. Jose Mato says, in my book, Caleb is the natural Jimmy back up. I agree. He should be the one coming off the bench in that position. The Miami Heat is struggling with size. They put Caleb Martin there to play the 4, and this is what's going on right now. It's not his fault. He's doing what he can. Alan Peter says, Kyle ahead of the game and always behind on defense. I don't necessarily agree. I remember one of the first games of the season. I think it was, let me remember. Was it Boston, maybe? It could have been Boston. And I think he did play a good defensive game, and he was showing some of the guys. It's hard, man. It's hard. So I don't feel that way about Kyle Lowry. I feel like we should expect more from him on the offensive side than really on defense, my opinion. But you guys can give yours as well. Jose, who at the 4? Jovic. He says a heater, not a hater. Let me see if the Miami Heat already posted their starting 5 tonight. Yes, they have. 12 minutes ago. So here it is. Kyle Lowry, Max Strus, Jimmy Butler, Caleb Martin, and Bam Adebayo. No surprises there. So Kyle Lowry, Max Strus, Jimmy Butler, Caleb Martin, and Bam Adebayo. That's the starting 5 for the Miami Heat tonight. And also, for all of you that didn't catch it earlier here in the pregame show, no Tyler Hero, still issues with his ankle. No Murray-7, same situation. And Victor Oladipo, trouble with his knee. They're all out and will not be available for tonight's game. Jose Matos is saying, yeah, Jovic, or we have to make a trade. We probably have to make a trade at some point this season, because I don't feel like this is going to work if they continue doing the same for the entire year. Man, Dennis Smith Jr. was running circles around him before he took him out. Talking about Jovic, I think. And I want to see him and Vic, but he's a rookie, talking about Jovic as well. We'll see what happens. Anyway, we want to invite you guys to come back here as soon as the game's over. We're going to be doing our post-game show right after the game is over, like I said. And also, if you want to hang out during the game and keep chatting with our friends here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel, we're also going to have the live score up for all of you that want to follow it there and want to share with us during the game. Have a good night. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your Saturday night. Enjoy the Miami Heat, and then go out, do whatever you have to do. Enjoy your family, and then get back here and join us for the post-game show as we watch the Miami Heat play for the 13th time this year. We'll see if they can get to 6 wins and 7 losses after they beat the Charlotte Hornets tonight. Have a good night. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you later here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Bye-bye.